Good day, good afternoon, podcast peoples, friends, family, new podcast listeners, and everyone in between. Even if you've only listened to half or 1 minute, again, uh, the podcasts or people in general, not everyone is made for everyone, and that is fine. I believe in that because there's definitely people that I prefer not to maybe hang out with or see or listen to just because of their views or just because of previous views that I've heard of theirs, and it's never been things that I'm interested in. So again, I try to stick to things I'm interested in. So for you guys, I would love you to listen if you're interested, and find something that interests you if you're not. Again, this is a solo podcast for today, coming to you from Cape Town, and it's the afternoon of Monday. I usually podcast on a Saturday, but this Saturday was just quite busy, and there was a few things going on that I had to do and get up to. So I didn't want to rush. I like to sit down, and if I'm rushed, then have all these thoughts on my mind, and I can't really focus on just podcasting. So 2 weeks ago now, we had our first guest, Sheldon. It was an amazing podcast. I was very happy to have the first guest. I was using a different system, so if this one sounds the volume-wise or sounds a bit different, I hope it sounds quite familiar, but it might sound a slight different. I'm using two different programs when I record. It's just virtual programs that I have on my PC. So with Sheldon, we were at the gym recording. It was quite windy on that day, so sometimes you can hear in the background there's a few noises, and that's just the roof vibrating or the wind moving the roof, the sheets. It's our gym is in a factory style area, which the roof is raw. Basically, you can see the support structure, and it's got a thin insulation with basically like a tin or a metal roof, and sometimes when the wind blows, then the sheets will vibrate against the roof, and so on and so on. It's like a normal thing for us now, but for some people at the gym, when it first happens, they think the roof is going to cave in, but it's just a normal industrial style roof. It's not meant to be insulated like your house. It's with roof tiles and so on. So if you heard that, it wasn't too often, and I did listen to the audio. It sounded quite good. And Sheldon and I had a nice conversation. And obviously, those podcasts are longer. These solo ones are, as I said, I keep it about an hour because I only can speak for so long. Otherwise, I'm really going to talk nonsense to everyone. So we are back to our solo podcast. We are just coming off a big Rugby World Cup wins for South Africa, which is amazing. I don't really watch team sports, but I do get a little bit interested when it comes to the finals and it's like South Africa playing, because it's nice to watch and get a feel for the energy when we win, because it really shows that South Africa is a multitude of people, but we can come together and do certain things really, really well. Like rugby, for instance, the team is filled with a range of people, size, race, and color, and that really goes a long way to show that there is hope for South Africa. I always have hope. I see videos like South Africa on the downfall. I don't believe into it. I don't buy into it, because I think that those are the types of things that are trying to split us as a nation. We might have problems, but every country in the world has problems, and every country has its own problems, and every smaller areas have their own problems. But as a whole, I think we are doing well, and we can do better, and we will do better. But the people that are not even disinformation, they just make videos of only the bad things that's happening. It gives you lots of views, and it will get you likes, or it'll get you some street cred on the online world or the online platforms. But I believe in the hope of South Africa, the team of the Rugby World Cup. We adapted, we played hard, we had good support, and I think we did really well. It's the same for South Africa itself. We have all those peoples in our country, and if we can win at a World Cup where everyone thinks, oh, they're just a third world country, we don't have much to offer. And then, we won't go against most of the countries, I think, or maybe all of them. Maybe, I don't know exact amounts, but we definitely are probably one of the only handful of third world countries that's in there and did so well versus these first world countries that, statistically should have won because they got better, what. But I don't like that system. I don't think you should discriminate against people like that. We're all just people. And I don't think the discrimination of countries and stuff makes any sense because we all live on one planet. So it's not like we go to other planets when we fly around the world. We only on this one planet. But, it is what it is. And it's the same for my gym that I run, Top Primate. We have a very varying degree of people. Personally, anyone's allowed and welcome at our gym. There's no discrimination against a certain person because we are all humans, and if humans all can fight, if you watch like any fighting things, there's every race, every size, every dynamic of fighter that's able to fight. So I think the training or exercising shouldn't be any different, whether you are overweight or in weight, or you're trying to get bigger, or you're trying to tone up. Just going to the gym and finding a place that you can train at comfortably without being discriminated against or without people shouting or looking at you funny, because I don't actually like that at the gym. So I am very I don't get in people's faces about it, but I I will stop someone from doing X. Had a father and a son came in there one day, and the father was like almost making fun, not almost, but he was making fun of his child during the classes. So I just the class carried on, and I stepped off to the side, and I went and I said to him, I'm like, what are you up to here? I wasn't rude as in swearing or shouting, but I was quite forceful with him in my words. I was wondering why he was being so rude to his son, that he's training and exercising and enjoying it, and he didn't like this. He didn't say anything, but his son never came back to training. And I wasn't upset about that. I'm more upset that he was like bullying his son instead of supporting him. Fathers are different to moms in the support they give, but that's like straight up something that a bully at school would do to someone if they like making fun of them. So, I don't stand for that. And if that happens at the gym, or one of my students tries that, or someone's sparring hard on a guy that really can't go hard or isn't on the level to defend himself, I will step in, and then I always tell them, look here, you are welcome to spar harder. Just make sure both people know and both people can spar hard. And now you're going to spar with me, and then I'll show you, what you're doing to the other guys. And then I'll never hit the people in the head hard, because I do believe that getting hit in the head hard is stupid unless you're fighting. Unless you want to fight and that's your world and that's your game plan to be a fighter, it's not necessary for you to get hit in the head in any capacity hard, because you are doing other stuff in your life, and Muay Thai or fighting or sparring might just be a part of your exercise. So everyone's welcome to spar at my gym, but I like to keep it Thai style, meaning it's very, very, very light to the head. It doesn't matter how fast or how good you are, you need to control your shots to the other person's head, because it's not a fight. I see so many guys actually fighting instead of sparring, and personally, you don't get better. I don't think you get better at all. I haven't seen any proof or any knowledge. I don't have any knowledge of people getting better from sparring hard. The only thing you can obviously get used to is someone cracking you hard. But that's not useful, because most of the time is spent outside of the ring. So if you are doing that type of sparring and hitting super hard, then when you go to the fight, your head's already all messed up, or you stop fighting and then you can't even talk properly, or you like punch drunk, which is, it's not worth it. So I don't allow my guys to do that, and we keep it nice and light. But if you want to kick the legs and the body, you want to go a little harder, that's fine. Getting winded isn't going to damage your brain cells. It might do a bit to your ego. It might, you might hurt your ribs. Your leg might be dead or bruised, or you limping. But I'd rather have that than you leaving the training with a headache, and your brain is swollen a bit, because that's really what's happening, or you get a concussion, or you get knocked out. Those things aren't things that you can just bounce back from, because most of the time no one's going to take the 6 weeks or 8 weeks off that they should be taking if they got hit in the head too hard. That means no running, no lifting of heavy weights, no excessive training. And a lot of people want to train hard, so it doesn't help if you get smashed in the head and then you're going to go train next week. I know a few people like that. They tell me, oh no, they got hit in the head, they had a 2-day, 3-day headache after sparring, and then they come to the gym and they're like, no, they're fine, they're going to spar. I'm like, no, you're not fine. You're just the student. You don't even know. The coach has to save you, obviously, because it's the same as throwing in the towel. If you see your fighter getting smashed in the fight, it doesn't really matter what the fighter thinks, because they will fight until they bloody dead. That's how fighters usually are. So I'll rather the students be cross with me or upset with me because I stopped the fight, or stop them from sparring to the head in class. Then 5 years down the line, I have to see them and they can't talk, and they can't even remember what they've been speaking about, and their bodies followed what their brain has done, because they aren't able to do what they used to do. Maybe they lose their job, or maybe they get onto painkillers for the pain. So I'm quite strict about that, and I don't really care what other coaches have to say, or what their opinion on it is. It's every coach does their thing, and every coach is allowed to, because they have started this gym, and if that's how they allow their students to train, then who am I to say that they shouldn't? At my gym, we don't do it, so I allow the guys to do some technical sparring, hard to the legs and body. You can still get a few knocks, like my leg, I let the guys kick me sometimes. I like to keep my conditioning up. I don't want to, yes, you can block often, and sometimes I can't block it, so I do take it, but I do want to keep my conditioning on my legs and body and so on, because when you're not conditioned and you get like a light tap, then it hurts even more. So sometimes I'll let the guys kick me, and then I'll give them a kick back. And sometimes, I will, if we've been training for a little while and we got a nice pace, and I trust the person that they're not going to smash me in the head, then we can go a little harder to the body and the legs, and you can play around, and you can really get better faster if you're not stressing about getting knocked out the whole time. Because then if you're stressing about knocking out, you're going to block differently, you're going to move differently, you're going to attack differently, and so on and so on. So I have a varying degree of levels at the gym. The advanced guys and the fighters, they usually stay together, like the high advanced guys or advanced guys that had fights, they go together. Their pace, if you'll notice, is a lot faster and harder, but they're able to block and take more. It doesn't look like anyone's getting hit really hard. It just, for your average beginner or average person, you might think, oh no, they're going really hard, but in actual fact, they know each other so well that they're able to block a lot, and when they do get kicked, they don't really feel it, because the conditioning's there and the other person is controlling their shots really well, But on the side of gyms and sparring hard or sparring light, there is obviously different martial arts that you can go harder on, quite hard, because no one's going to get hurt. In Muay Thai, you could clinch. Clinching is the stand-up grappling, basically. Once you go down, you can't fight anymore. So you clinch each other, you can throw each other around quite hardly, and you can knee with the side or the inside of your thigh on the person, which is, if you feel it, there's a lot of meat there. If you hit the person on their ribs don't break. They feel impact, but There's no cracked ribs, because cracked ribs, if you've never had, you're looking at 8 weeks, maybe minimum, maximum, depending on your healing rate and how fast you're going to heal up. And even after that 8 weeks mark, it's still going to be tender. No one can kick you there because it'll just probably break again. So probably looking at like a 12-week stint to recover without doing any heavy twists or round ice and so on. So you rather don't want that. So use the inside of your thigh, your knee each other on the ribs. It also, personally for me, if you look at when the people knee each other, sometimes the person that you're trying to knee will pull back, and you need to throw your body more forward to land on them. So in that sense, you're actually practicing the person running from you and throwing this nice big knee, or you exaggerate in the knee. And if you do it for real, then you're going to always exaggerate the knee and throw the knee through the person, and so on, which is what you want. When you knee someone, you want them to hurt. That's just how it goes. Talking about the knees, like if you train with new students, I'm sure any practitioner that's trained with a new guy or a newbie, you know that the new people hurt the advanced people, because the advanced or fighters, they anticipate what you're going to do, as in where you're going to kick, so they block like X. But you might have a new person, they try to throw straight knees, they hit you in the nuts because they're standing right in front of you and they just lift their knee. Instead of the technique of making space and then kneeing and lifting your knee up to the right height, they just go lift, which is, obviously not allowed in Muay Thai, and in most fighting, you're not allowed to hit the guy in the nuts. So it really, you got to trust the guy before they throw straight knees. And then sometimes they get a bit wild, and you trying to throw them, and they've already got their knee up, and then as you throw, they hit you in the ribs. That's what happened to me over the last Friday of sparring. My ribs are a bit tender. They're not broken, but I can definitely feel that I took a tap in there. And then I did the same move to the person, and I got hit with the same knee on the same side. So I think the double whammy there on the same impact area has hurt me a bit. Nothing too mad. I can still twist and I can lift my arm up. It's not broken. I don't think I've broken my ribs before, but I've definitely had a good rib injury once or twice. And this is not close to it. This is more like a bruising of the area, and more an irritation because now obviously it's a bit tender. I can't get kicked there or hit there, and then it's going to be even worse. And there's some things that I like, if I roll onto my side, and then it's a bit tender. It's not too bad. It's not. I've had it before, but it's there, and you're like, now I got this thing. But again, I'm happy because it's a bit of conditioning. It's a reminder for even me, that reminds all the other students about it, to be careful about the new guys because they hurt you. I must, remember the same thing. It's doubly important to me because I'm the coach, and if I'm injured, then I can't show certain moves. I can't practice with certain things that I need to with the guys, because I jump in there with them to make sure, that they are hitting the right spots, because some people don't kick or punch the right areas, or make sure that I up the pace. If the coach is the only person that can up the pace versus the other guys that are not on the level to up the pace, then you can't rely on the guys that are not on the high level to practice with the guys that you're trying to get to fight, or you're trying to get them better. There has to be, every now and then, there has to be someone that jumps in that is able to take bigger shots, as in more shots, like they let the guy hit them or they block and they're not scared of what the guy's doing. Some people are a bit scared when they spar, they jump away, or they don't want to engage correctly. So I'll jump in and I'll put on my Muay Thai face, as people say. Sometimes when I spar, they're like, "Oh, you look like you're fighting again," or "Oh, you got this look on your face." And I tell them I have to, because his opponent's probably going to do the same. And there's going to be people out there that can take a shot. And if you think that you are that good, then no one's pushing you, then when you fight someone better, you're going to have a shock of your life. So it's always good for me personally to jump in and work the students a bit, get their level up, tell them, hey, look here, you're getting slow on that, or this isn't going to work because you can't land it. You can land it on guys that are not so good, but when it comes to someone that's on a different level or better level, it's not a move that works. Because some people will throw a move and it works on the new people because they are unable to see it or defend it or so on, and then it's going to work, and then they think, oh, I got this move, and then they try it on someone that's good, and the move is like zero results are had from this move. So you always want to be training with someone that's better, or someone that's a little faster, or someone that's a little stronger, so that you can sometimes go a little harder, but in essence for the bigger or heavier person, you're not going harder, you're going like a normal pace. Then that's going to help bring up your Muay Thai or your everything that you're training for, So I've got some great news at the gym. I've been looking for a boxing coach and a jiu-jitsu coach for a while. I had a boxing coach, but unfortunately, it's not just boxing coaches, it's just some coaches in general. They don't want to put in the work of building up the students, or how long it takes to get students. They just want the money, or they just want the students now, or they want to come in with students already available. So it doesn't work like that, because if you don't run boxing or jiu-jitsu at your gym or anything like that, and then you offer the classes, you can't expect that there's going to be a full class if, one, you don't have any followers behind you, or you just don't have any support from students, that because the gym is a Muay Thai gym. So you can't expect there to be a lot of jiu-jitsu people looking to train if you had a Muay Thai gym only. So the problem with the boxing coach is he was a good coach, but he would let me down on some days. Like he couldn't arrive at the gym, or he would come in, but he would have some issues. Again, for me personally, you have to leave your shit at the door, because the people that come to train aren't there to know your bullshit. He would tell the students like he's having money issues, and so you can't have coaches that are doing that, because again, not that the people might not care, because maybe they don't, maybe they do, but they're not coming to the gym to hear problems, yours especially, from the coach that is teaching them, because you're right there and you're going to be talking nonsense to them about this stuff. So unfortunately we had a disagreement, but as a person, I wished him well, but as a coach or the owner of the gym, I had to let him go, in the sense that I couldn't have him at the gym anymore. And then I lost the boxing side of things, which was puts you back, because you have boxing with a few students, you have Muay Thai with a few students, and you grow in your thing, and then all of a sudden you have no more boxing, and you lose like some of your students, which cuts into your income, as in running costs of the gym, the rent, and so on. So since then I've been looking for new coaches, but again, it's not so easy, because I'll get a coach that wants to only train once a week, or he wants to train twice a week, or he wants to be paid X amount of money, but he's got no students. There is a rental fee that you have to pay when you are at a gym. I don't know what all gyms do, but at my gym, the coaches are their own coach, so they run their classes as they need to. Obviously, there's certain criteria that they need to follow, as in warm the guys up and instill the respect of the other students in them. So don't be rude to the other students. Don't be like, hey, Muay Thai is better than this, or boxing is better than that. Everyone is just there to train. It's not like a challenge the other students, because that's not what we're there for. Otherwise, we could just do that. We could have like, hey, we're gonna see who at sports better. It isn't better, it's just different. It's what you're interested in. If you want to do Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, boxing, and that's what you should do. So he left, and his students were they were good guys, but he didn't instill the clean up after yourselves, or pack away this, or please wear your shoes when you're off the mats, which is a big thing, or don't be disrespectful to the other students or other coaches, and so on. That's a few things that wasn't covered. So at the moment, I'm happy to announce that we have a new jiu-jitsu coach. He's a black belt coach. His name is Mohammed, and he is our coach. He's got autism. He was actually diagnosed at 45. He's obviously lived his whole life with these issues of the autism. But once you are diagnosed, you can get a few helpful hints as to what your personality is about or why you are a certain way, and it helps to help you correct it or get better or just understand and not be so upset with yourself or whatever. I think it works out because I have ADHD, he has autism, or we're both neurodivergent, or we're both on the spectrum, whatever you want to call it. Whether you believe in it or not, the symptoms or the criteria for these not a sickness or disease is like I don't know what you want to call it. I don't like to refer to it as a disease or a sickness. It's a trait of certain humans, and so we work together quite well. And I'm happy that he's back to the training. We're gonna have jiu-jitsu 3 times in the week, and then on a Saturday we'll have an open class, which a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms do. It's like a free class where anyone can join from any gym, and we have the same with our Muay Thai. So you come in, you do the Muay Thai for the Saturday, free class, always free, anyone can join it. And now the jiu-jitsu will be the similar, so there will be classes at 10:30 on a Saturday, and that will be after the Muay Thai. So we're growing the classes that we have at the gym, which is always good because it benefits everyone. The more people see, okay, they're doing this, they got offer this and they offer this. If they do a competition, then we got a strength and conditioning coach. If they are doing, they want some cardio, they can join the Muay Thai class that will get them cardio. So depending on what they want to do. And going back to, going hard and so on and so on, as I said, the clinching, you can go quite hard on the clinch. Obviously, you got to be careful of what type of things you throw on who, but most of the time you can pull and push each other quite hard, and the other person fights back, so they really gave you a workout. The jiu-jitsu, there's no striking. If you're not aware, you can usually start standing. Most of it is on the ground. The moves that you do is probably 90% on the ground. The 10% where you're on your feet, you may be looking for position, looking for a takedown or a slam or a sweep or so on, or you're just looking for position. And once you go down, then you can go quite hard, because unless you are submitting the person and you like being nasty and you cranking on them, you can go pretty hard until the time where you get into the submission. Then you don't want to go too hard, you just put it in. Make sure it's you finish it. So if you choke in the guy, he will tap because he can't breathe. If you are arm barring the guy, it's not advisable to go as hard as you can when you're trying to submit the guy in that, because you might hurt his arm. So you just put the move in, and the person will tap. If they don't tap, or you're training for something specific, you might be like, okay, just go a little more. It's not in properly, or adjust this, and then the person taps. So it does help that you can go a little harder in that, which gives you a different workout. It's if you do Muay Thai and you do Jiu-Jitsu, the workout is quite different, as in the one is a different cardio versus the other. So guys that are fit in Muay Thai, they go try Jiu-Jitsu, they suffer, and vice versa. Guys that try Muay Thai that are fit in Jiu-Jitsu suffer. Your body gets used to certain moves and actually what you are doing, as in I'm laying down or on my side or on the person, and I'm slowly putting the moves in, versus like a Muay Thai, which is more of a sprint. So you're doing everything very fast and constant, and you're on your feet the whole time, and you're not able to just slow it down when you feel like it. You kind of have to go fast. So it just depends, what you're interested in. But the classes are very fun. Some people don't like it so much because you have someone on top of you or on you or grabbing on you, and you obviously their sweat goes on you, and you like head to head, or you like chest to chest, or you in peculiar positions. I won't say awkward, because if you think it's awkward, then you're going into it for the wrong reason. Some of the positions are peculiar, as in you have very like north to south position is a peculiar one, because you kind of, your head is in the person's groin and then their head's in your groin, and sometimes you will have to put pressure on their face with your stomach or your groin area, or sometimes you push in, and you will be pushing on all types and all different areas of their body. So again, you can't think of it that way. You just roll in. You're obviously going to touch people's feet, and touch people's arms and backs and hips and legs and faces and so on and so on. So some people get a bit like weirded out about that. But if you do it for a few weeks, you find that once you're tired, nothing matters. Unless the person's being like obnoxious about it, like they purposely grabbing you or rubbing stuff against you that they shouldn't, then that's a different story. That's not what we should focus on, because those people need to be spoken to or reprimanded, or they need to be asked to leave or asked to not do it again. Otherwise, there would have to be consequences, because it's supposed to be a safe environment for people to train. And it probably goes to the same why there's not so many ladies that get involved in the jiu-jitsu, as in if you look at a gym with jiu-jitsu practitioners, you're probably going to see a lot of males, and then you probably see like one or two, 10%, 20% are lady fighters or lady students. Just because, again, it's if guys are naive to this, let me tell you that some guys can be asses with any move, any practicing moves. They can just be silly with a female practitioner, as in they might touch them inappropriately on purpose, or rub or speak to them like flirtatiously while doing these moves, or while training, which is the worst of the worst, because that's not what they're there for. Trust me, I'm sure that guys and girls could pick up other guys and girls easier outside of a gym facility, because you are training, you're sweating, you don't look the best, maybe you smell funny, your clothes are old or broken, you're not putting on the best show. I personally have seen it a few times. It's not right, because then you usually lose the female student, because she's not happy with the inappropriateness of the stuff, and the guys usually just don't care. So if you don't know this fact, and I say it's a fact because it is, I've seen it, and if you haven't seen it, then maybe open your eyes a bit more. But you should watch out for that, and you should always try to guide your students away from that. And it starts in the beginning with the coach setting boundaries for the student, and also making sure he watches the new guys, that they don't get into a thing where they think they can just do whatever with the other students. It's not just male female, it can be male on male, it can be female on female. It probably doesn't happen as often, because the guys are more inclined to do a bit of suspicious things when they're training, and that's something that should be frowned upon, because the people come there to train. Martial arts is for everyone, and anyone can do it, and it's probably the best training that a female can do in self-defense, because Muay Thai, or people always like, can they teach the Muay Thai can they use it for self-defense? It's not going to be your best self-defense, because Muay Thai is about striking, and if you are weaker than the person you're striking, you're going to have problems with subduing or stopping them from doing what they want, or trying to do what they want. With the jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter how big or small you are, everyone goes to sleep. If you choke them out, everyone will go to sleep. And you don't have to be a large person, a strong person. You don't have to even be bigger than your opponent. You just have to work the techniques. It also helps you stay calm in different situations, because a lot of the time when you fight, if someone gets into a fight in a self-defense orientation, the fight could go to the ground, or you might not want to, if someone's doing something, to like hitting them is not going to be the best option, because you're going to get into more trouble for hitting them. But if you just subdue the person or control them, you're gonna get into a lot less trouble, if any trouble, because they can see this person came aggressively at you, and you kind of just subdued them in a way that was gentle, or not so violent as in striking the person. Because striking gets you into trouble. You break things, they fall, they hurt themselves. If you can just subdue or dismantle an opponent that is trying to be physical with you, and so on, the jiu-jitsu is probably your best bet. Or even judo, if the person is pushing up against you, you can throw them and you can leave. If you strike someone and your strike is not effective, that's just going to annoy them more, and you're not going to be in a situation where you can get away, because now you hit them and they're right in front of you. If you throw them or subdue them or choke them, if they're thrown, obviously you can throw and leave. If you subdue them, you can just break their momentum, and hopefully they stop, someone interjects. Or if you obviously have to, you choke them out. By the time they wake up, you can be long gone. You can hold them in that position, because the positions are very, very effective. Some people might say, "Oh, I'll just stand up." Okay, you can try. I say try because there is positions that someone can have you in, and if they're good at the position, you're not going to get up. On the striking side, if someone's bigger than the guy that they're hitting, that bigger person's probably going to get into trouble, even if they didn't start the fight. Just because you hit the guy and now he's broken, he's bleeding everywhere, or he fell and he hurt himself, that's when you get into the trouble, which is unfortunate, because for me personally, some people just deserve one and they will come right. It's because they never received one before that they are testing and pushing these boundaries, and so on. So our coach is Muhammad. He's actually an author as well as a black belt jiu-jitsu practitioner. He has a book called The Loner's Way. It's a life story about his book. As he said, he's only got diagnosed at 45. So the story is of his childhood, and a lot of times when someone's autistic or ADHD, they're a bit different to their normal peers, and they get bullied often, and it's not fun. So obviously the jiu-jitsu was his way of his release, and giving yourself some self-confidence or self-awareness, giving yourself that confidence that you need to get over that other nonsense. So look out for that book. It's called The Loner's Way. It has a picture, or on the front, the image is of a young child, which is Muhammad, and it's a very young photo, and he is basically talking about his life story, and he goes on wherever he can to promote his book, and we are hoping and soon to have him as a guest on the podcast, and then we'll dive deeper into his ongoings of his life and jiu-jitsu as a whole, and so on. So look out for that in the future. We'll keep it solo podcasts and guest podcasts, because I want to keep growing my audience. I also want to keep talking to you guys. If there's definitely people out there that are enjoying the podcast, and I would like to keep you guys up to date with stuff that's going on, because I also use this platform to update as in what's happening in my gym or in my life. More to the gym. I don't get too personal on here, because I don't want I don't need or feel the urge to divulge that word, too much of my personal stuff, because I still want it to be personal, and I'm quite private in that sense. But for the Muay Thai and the other things that I do, I'm very public about it because I do want people to get involved with, being healthy or just changing or helping change their lives. It's not easy because some people might want it, but they don't know where to start, or they might want it, but they say they're too lazy to start. Firstly, you should find something that you enjoy. At our gym, I try to offer the students an options for if Muay Thai might thrill you, Jiu-Jitsu might capture your attention, functional fitness might be something that you're more interested in. It's different training, different coaches, and completely different body type that you get from all three. You do the functional fitness, you're obviously going to tone up and you're going to get stronger depending on your diet or what you take. You can get size wise bigger and so on, but most of the time you're going to stay toned and strong, which is what I think most people want. It's not a high cardio intensive exercises, so you'll do a warm-up and a stretch like the other Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu will do, but then you go into a more it's a more linear progression of the cardio, where it's not up and down the whole time, or it's not just up, it is in the middle, because you do different body weight or weighted exercises, but it's movement. So it's not, okay, there's a bench and I bench press one movement. If you work your chest, it will probably be with an exercise where you're moving your arms or having to walk, which again is your normal day-to-day things. If you can't, you can test yourself. If you can't sit on the ground, lay flat on the ground, and then stand up within a short period of time without struggling or falling over once you're up, or falling hard when you hit the ground, you probably need some movement exercise in your life. If you can't walk upstairs without being tired, if you can't carry your parcels in from outside because you can't grip enough, or you have to go 2-3 trips because it's too heavy, you probably need some movement in your life. Bodies are supposed to move. They're not supposed to be these things that just sit around and carry you around, and maybe you go walk sometimes, a strenuous walk. You should be training at least 30 minutes a day, or build up a light sweat every day, or move your body every day in any sense. So for the functional, it's amazing for anyone looking to get stronger, looking to tone, looking to drop weight or gain weight, or just move and get that feeling of their body, what it can and can't do. Okay, I can't pick up this weight at that angle. Okay, we all work on that. Let's get stronger. Okay, your knees are a bit tender because you don't train. There's no muscle. Okay, let's work on that. We go slow. Muay Thai, on the other hand, is like, think of it as a sprinter. It's high intensity cardio most of the time, with own body weight, as in push-ups or sit-ups or squats in between. The intensity itself is quite high, so in the beginning, you obviously, any exercise, you got to get used to it. First 2-3 weeks is on any exercise. Give yourself at least 2-3 weeks a month to get used to it, and not do it once a week. You got to do it at least 2-3 times a week. Otherwise, if you do it once a week, you're never going to get anywhere. You're always going to be sore. You're not going to feel anything. Again, some people do that. It's better than nothing, but you actually are probably doing yourself more damage, because now you're exercising and you're only doing it once a week. So now you're getting sore and you're sweating, but you're not getting any results because there's not enough, there's too much rest in between. As in, if you do it once a day, that's 6 days that you go without doing it again. So in a week, you're doing it once, it's not enough. 2 is like bare minimal, because at least you can space it out, but you're not gonna get very far with 2. 3, on the other hand, is probably your best middle ground for getting results. 1 and 2, you feel the pain, you see the different moves, so on, but you don't get the best results because there's too much time in between. 3, on the other hand, you can space out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 days only off. 1 day in between if you really have to have the break and you saw and so on. But at least 3 a week, you space it out. You don't have more than 3 days of rest. Your body starts to adapt now to these exercises and moves. You see results, you drop weight, everything goes well. 3 to 4, then you're looking at your higher level guys, because if you're doing 4 a week, that means you're gonna have days where you don't have a gap, which means you're gonna have to push yourself. You're gonna be sore, or you work a different exercise on the days that you're a bit tender, but you're gonna see big results there. For fighters and so on, guys that are athletes or pros, professionals, they're probably looking at a minimum of 5 a week, because they need to be changing and pushing as much as they possibly can. So 5 a week is very important. If you are doing a competition or something, you're going to go to maybe 10 sessions a week. And 10 sessions might seem excessive for someone, but if you're not doing it for some reason, like as in you're fighting or you got to get really, really fit, it's not necessary to do so many. And you can only hold that off for about 6 to 7 weeks. You probably, if you do that excessive training for 7 weeks, you can't go more than 7. Your body's just going to be tired. Everything's going to be sore. You fatigued. Then injury is going to start to set in. So you got to remember what you're doing it for. If you're looking to tone up or just get fit, 3 to 4 sessions a week. Don't look what anyone tells you or what you think in yourself. Don't be self-diagnosing yourself and be like, 4's too much. If you want to get somewhere, it's got to be a little bit excessive on certain things. 3 to 4 a week is good. Change your diet is good. As in, if you're eating shit, you can train every day and you might not get anywhere, because your eating is basically you losing, say, X, but you're putting in more than you're losing at the gym. So you might get fitter, you might see a slight change in results, but if you don't change what you're eating, it's not going to take you very far. And I'm not saying like don't eat, because there's people out there, or there's diets out there which is silly. Just eat the green, just drink juice. You're fucking crazy. Your body needs nutrition, not a lack of nutrition. So if you are now on a juice diet, please go and eat something, and not sweets, you don't need pasta and breads a lot of. You need to change to fruits, okay, vegetables, fresh, not frozen. If you don't eat meat, or if you do eat meat, you need meat, okay, a little bit of protein in your diet. If you don't eat meat, you can easily get protein from beans and peas, and especially lentils. Lentils, eat it every day. I eat lentils every day. I've changed from breads and pastas to whatever I would have in the pasta. I put with rice and lentils, and I put it together, and it's perfect. If you're gonna have spaghetti, cut out the spaghetti or the pasta and put rice and lentils and the pasta sauce or the mince on top of that. The pasta is, yes, it's nice, and I'm not saying you can't have cheat days, but you gotta, again, 3 to 4 times a week of not eating it versus eating it every day. You'll see a big difference. My knee, I hurt in a motorbike accident, and I broke my leg and so on. And my knee was always sore from training Muay Thai, you twist and what. But since I've stopped bread and pasta, the inflammation side of things has gone down, and my knee's not sore. I don't know how long it's been now that my knee hasn't had any pain. I don't even remember that it used to be sore. That's how much there's no pain. My partner, she's noticed her face is slimmer, her stomach, there's no bloat, because it's not sometimes that you're overweight, sometimes you're just bloated. She's cut that out, and we both cut it out of our diets. Things that, like maybe I got an injury, it heals up quicker and there's less pain than before because the inflammation's gone. So, it's a slow process. I only started doing this recently this year. So, and I've seen results just over a few months. I haven't been doing it for a few years. It's a few months and I've been seeing results. So I would suggest it to people. If they're like, oh, I can't, I eat bread, I eat pasta. Rice and lentils is similarly priced to having pastas and bread, because you buy a bag of lentils, you don't have to use the whole bag. You put in like a cup, half a cup. You use your rice. Rice, you buy a bag, it lasts for a long time because the rice doubles in size. So you put that together, and for lunch, because you'll see that I don't eat every day something different, because one, it becomes very expensive, and two, you just sometimes I just want something that I know, okay, I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna eat it. I don't have to worry about thinking about this ingredient, that ingredient. So I do a lot of, I have the rice and lentils together. I put, if I am able to, but if I don't need to, I just keep it basic. Rice and lentils, put some mushrooms in there, put some carrots, some onions just for flavor. That's also, carrots and the mushrooms will give you some extra nutrients and just a bit of different texture. And then I just take some eggs and I scramble the eggs, and then I put the whole thing together, mix it all, put in the pan and fry it up. And there I've got myself some scrambled rice, lentils, mushrooms, all that put together. And it's a quick meal. It's healthy. You don't feel bloated afterwards. You don't have to feel guilty about, I ate too much. If you eat a lot of pasta and a lot of bread, then you can feel guilty because you're going to feel it, you're going to see it. So I changed that. And again, it's a journey because I only changed to that recently. So it's not like I've been doing it for a long time. So I can't say, oh yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. But I have been exercising 5 to 6 times a week for a very long time. So that has helped keep my body in shape. But now with the extra loss of bread and pasta, which was a big thing because I was eating it every day, I've seen huge results change. My weight hasn't changed, but I look better muscularly. I feel better, as in any pain on my knee and inflammation. If I had something tight before, and now that I stopped, it's like I'd have an injury that it's like not reoccurring, but I would do the same move and re-hurt the thing. So maybe it's reoccurring, but it wasn't. It basically was healed, and then I came and I hurt it again. It was fully healed, and I hurt it again. And that, even those injuries are less sore. They heal up a lot faster now, and so on and so on. Like with my rib now that I got kneed, I'm checking now. So it was on Friday. I got it hurt, and it's not too bad, as I said. And I want to see by Friday what it feels like, because when I hurt it before and I was eating bread and pastas and still, it took me like 8-9 weeks for my rib to come right. Okay, but that was a more serious one. So this is going to be like a half test. But I do feel my body just feels better. I also after meals, don't want to go to sleep, because pasta and bread will make you feel tired, because now your body is heavily processing the stuff. So it takes a lot of energy. And if you do go to sleep, then obviously your body's not processing. You wake up and you're actually doing more damage to your physique or your weight, and so on and so on. Now, with talking about all of this, some people are like, I'm happy with my weight, or you can't discriminate. And again, I will tell you that I am not against any body shapes. I'm against people not exercising or looking after themselves and then complaining about it, or saying, oh, you must like me the way I am. That's when it gets a bit iffy, because you're telling me to respect you hurting or damaging your body, when you could help yourself and you could help your body be a little better. You're young and you got all these illnesses and issues and stuff, but if you just weren't lazy, because whether or not it wants to be accepted, you are lazy if you're not even trying to exercise or eat better. Because if you can go out and buy a Coke, you could also go out and buy a water. Or if you can go out and you purchasing the bread, you can go out and buy the rice and lentils and so on, so on, Yes, the initial start is expensive, but in the long run, you're going to be a lot healthier. You're going to live longer. You're going to be able to do things that certain people at certain ages, when they get there, they're like, oh, no, I'm done with this. You don't have to be done. So it's not a discrimination. It's just more, I get upset. Like, I don't like to see it, because I know that there is an option for everyone to get fit or just feel better. Whatever you eat is also works on your mental state. So if you're eating terribly, one, the food is going to, obviously you're not going to get any nutrients, your body's going to be all feeling cuck. But two, you eating cuck the whole time, you might feel guilty about eating this cuck the whole time or not exercising. So, your body's telling you that guilt is not necessarily the best word. It's not guilt. It's your body's telling you, hey, I'm not loving what you're doing to me. Talk with me, work with me. If you just drank some water, I promise I won't have so many headaches. If you just did some stretching, I promise you'll be able to touch your toes. That's how I think about it. It's not straight up that I want to discriminate against people, but I discriminate against anyone being lazy and not trying to help themselves and just complaining about it. That's like the worst case scenario. And for coach, it's difficult sometimes. You get people that aren't coachable, or like not that they're not coachable, but they just say funny things, as in like, oh, I'm sore or I'm tired. I'm like, yeah, but you got two options. You can suffer being sore and tired, right, from being unhealthy, or you can suffer from being sore and untired and be in shape, as in not shape as in six pack and big muscles, as in if you need to climb or pull your body weight up somewhere, or jump or lift your own body, you can. If you need to get up off the floor, you can. If you're walking, you don't just buckle and trip over yourself because you have no stabilizers. Anyone that trains, it doesn't matter their body type, I'm proud of them for training. It doesn't matter how long they take, or if their body doesn't change. If they are training and they're sweating, it might just be that they're eating wrong. If they change their eating, they would probably be looking better. But I would take you exercising and moving your body over eating better any day, because you can only do so much with the food. Your body still needs to move and exercise. And if you exercise and move, your body can at least fight back. But if you just eating better and not exercising, you can still be frail. You can still have no stabilizers. You can still be a weak person per se. This is a very sensitive topic, so also choosing my words carefully, as in I don't hate on these people. I more feel sorry for them that they don't know that it's not that difficult to change. You start with one step. Okay, here's the first step. Take out something in your diet that's not working and you know is wrong. Okay, it doesn't have to be the most excessive thing. Okay, if you're drinking Coke, okay, every time you drink Coke, if you have half, whatever you have Coke-wise, you drink that much water, double. Yeah. If you are craving sweets, make sure that if you have any sweets, that you have in double the fruit intake. Don't buy frozen vegetables, buy fresh vegetables. Okay, don't try to minus the pasta, right? If you like pastas, okay, cool. But trust me, make your sauce, make your mince, make your chicken or whatever, and then put that on some lentils and rice. And I kid you not, you will tell me that this is the best shit you've ever tasted. Because one, your body is then going to thrive and help you feel better. The water is going to help you because the Coke makes you thirsty from all the sodium in it. I don't know if you know, when you drink Coke, you're like, oh, I'm so thirsty, you drink Coke. And then you're like, I'm so thirsty, you drink more. The Coke is actually made in a particular way to stimulate and stop you from, not stop you, sorry, but makes you more thirsty because of the ingredients. So the pasta, again, if you go sleep afterwards and you're like, oh, I'm so tired, and if you stayed awake, you would burn off more of what you just ate or what you have on you faster than if you go sleep. You go sleep, your body just chills, you wake up, you're still tired. Or maybe you got inflammation, or you got a lot of pain in your back, or so on. Stop eating bread and pasta, and that will change. It's just small things. Like I always tell people, try to cut out like white stuff in your diet. So white bread and pastas. And if you can't cut out bread, then go for brown bread. Because I tell you that even though it's not that much better, it's still better than the white bread. And then it's your first step in changing it. Easiest step is, instead of buying frozen vegetables, buy fresh vegetables. And that alone the fresh vegetables will give you better nutrients than the frozen. And that's not much of a difference, because you're going to eat the vegetables anyway, right? Make sure that you don't have the sweet stuff in your house. Like if you're going to have it, right? Because, I do too. I'll have a chocolate, and Michaela and I will have like sweets on a Sunday or something, watching movies, because I like to be balanced, live both sides, more on the healthy, like 1 day, 2 days on the unhealthy. Don't have the stuff in your house. Have fruit in your house. Again, like some people are like, oh, but fruit's got sugar in. Motherfucker, shut your fucking mouth. You telling me that fruit versus sweets, that I should rather have what? Tell me what then. You have to give me some kind of option. So those people that say, oh, fruits is this and this and this, I tell you to shut your mouth. Because taking fruit in, right, the sugar combined with the fiber, combined with the other nutrients, is all balanced out, that it will break down, work there. Sugar is just sugar. There's no fiber. You constipated or so on. So get yourself fruit. Doesn't have to be magical. Like I eat bananas every day because that helps me when I want a snack and I don't want to make food, or I'm not eating yet. Have a banana. Have apples. Different types of apples. Everyone has their preferences. Have pineapple. That's super sweet, but because it's got the fruit plant itself, you're eating the fiber with the sweetness of it. It's natural fruit. It's natural flavoring. If you can, then buy strawberries, blueberries. If you really like jonesing for something, rather have the fruit with some yogurt, like plain yogurt. Don't have sweetened, because there's a lot of sugar in that too. It's better to have the unsweetened or the low fat, or I do a full cream because I like the nutrients value of the full cream, and there's no sugar in it, so I'd rather have the full cream. And then you throw that on your fruit, okay? You don't have to go excessive. Like I don't always go excessive on most things. Most days, as I said, I eat the same thing. So I have the banana, I have the apples, I like to have oranges if I can. I like to have other fruits if I can, but the sustainable fruits are bananas and the apples, because apples last for a long time and they are cheap and you get quite a bit. Bananas don't last too long, but they have a lot of potassium in it, which is very good for your body and your muscles and so on and so on. So it's not, I feel bad sometimes because I would love to help the people, but I don't believe in motivation. So I won't help you unless you want to help yourself first. And then by all means, I'll help you. I'll do what I can, and you can train. And, I have the ability, in the sense I have the gym that you can train at. So there is this place there. You can trust me, because if I'm helping you, then obviously we know each other, or we're getting to know each other. There is different forms of training that you can do, and then we offer 3 types of training now. If you don't like any of them, then that's on you. because then you don't want to do anything. Because we have 3 types, as in you can do jiu-jitsu, which is rolling, self-defense. Okay, obviously you train with a person. You can do the Muay Thai. You train by yourself a lot. It's high cardio intensive, so you might enjoy that, kicking and punching. Or you can do the weights, the functional fitness. Very, very important. Probably more important if you're starting to do the weights than it is the Muay Thai. Because some people, you try to do a Muay Thai move and your legs are a bit undeveloped, and then you can hurt yourself. The weights, you can go lightweight or no weight. You build up those muscles. So anyone listening to this, or anyone looking to help themselves, message me. I'm there at Top Primate. You know, Top Primate on most platforms you can find, and message us. Just type in Top Primate on Google and you can message us through there. My number's everywhere. If you need help, obviously there is a fee to this stuff, because I run a gym and I have to, I sell the classes and I sell health, but it's not excessive amounts. All our classes are unlimited options, which you can do as many as you want per week or per month, however you want to look at it. And it's very balanced in price, as it is not excessive. It's not the cheapest, but it is in the middle. And if you are spending even once a weekend, you spending 500 Rand, or you buy alcohol and you spending 250 a weekend on it, or you know, stuff like that, you can, all that can save up to training. And even though the alcohol and stuff might make you feel good at that time, it's not going to make you feel good in the long run. So you can get to a spot where you're training, and no one said stop drinking, just drink maybe a little bit less, or drink afterwards. I tell you, I would rather have people eating and drinking or doing their most unhealthy things and training than just doing the unhealthy things. I will, because I won't motivate you, but I will accept it completely if you are training and doing all the other cuck on the side that you did before. Because then at least I know that you will get to a point where you will start to slowly change. You will start to slowly be better at certain things, because you'll be like, let me just cut this out or cut. That's how it works. You start with 1 step. No one's saying start with 10. Like I can't start with 10 steps. If you don't let me do 1 step at a time, then I'm screwed. So it's the same with this podcast. You know, I started with this and that, and fix this problem, and there was this problem, and now I'm not a pro, but I am more comfortable. You know, I try to put out information. This will always be free, so no one ever has to pay for the podcast. And if you listen to the podcast, again, same as training, if you just take one thing, or do 1% of the things that maybe I suggest, or maybe that's out there in the world, you can definitely help yourself. I know people will say, but I'm happy the way I am. If it's true, it's true, but I'll ask you this. If you look in that mirror, right, or you talk to yourself, which you should, are you lying to yourself, or are you lying to the world? Because if you're lying to the world, that's fine. I don't care. Lie to the world as much as you want, because fuck them. They don't need to know any of you unless you want to let them know. But if you're lying to yourself, and you know deep down inside you are screaming for assistance or something, and you just maybe embarrassed or ego, or you just don't want to lose face, then that's the real time to start doing something, and start slow. Don't tell anyone. I don't tell anyone anything I do. I do my podcast. I tell you what I want you to know or hear. If you ask questions and I don't want to answer, I will say I don't want to answer, because there's certain things that I just want to keep for myself. So my personal life is more to do with me. I don't divulge it too much. But if you ask questions, I might give you an answer, but it might be less details than if you ask me about the exercising and so on and so on. So please, don't hate on other people if they are saying certain things to you. Maybe that's the truth, and maybe you just lying to them and yourself. Again, lying to them is fine. Who cares about them? Lying to yourself is a different story because you have to live with yourself the whole time. So getting your body just moving, and it's not easy in the beginning. You don't even have to go to the gym. Go and walk every day, right? Maybe you turn and you want to run a little bit. Go and do 10 push-ups every day, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats. As you go, even if it takes you a year to do 20, then you go to 20. It's just the start. It's that initial first step. It's that first jump. It's that first movement that's always the most difficult. And sometimes you fight yourself to do it. But if you go stand in the mirror and you listen to your inner voice, it's probably shouting at you to do something, help me, stop, doing X. Because a lot of problems that people face, let's say pain-wise, take painkillers and stuff. But if they were exercising, they could alleviate a lot of that pain, because some people have bad knees, bad back, but you're carrying too much weight for your body. As in, I don't care if you say you're happy or you say this is beautiful or this is that. Your body is telling you that I can't actually take what you put in on me. There's too much of it. Doesn't matter if you like it or not, or whatever you tell yourself. Your body's saying, I can't, as in there's too much excess, or there's too much for this muscle to carry, because you don't even look after the muscle, so on and so on. So, some people might get upset about what I say, but that's fine, because I'm only telling the truth, and I'm also trying to say it in a way that is not disrespectful, because obviously there's people out there that are struggling to get or see the light. But the light's right there, motherfucker. Your body's telling you it's right there. A lot of the things is also made to be addictive. So like sugar, not natural sugar, but man-made sugar is probably the most addictive substance out there, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I still eat sugar, and I know sometimes you're like, I just want something sweet. It is addictive, but if you try to balance your life, as in do some training and have the sweet stuff, it's better than just having the sweet stuff. There's lots of stuff out there, like painkillers. They can be super addictive. They make you feel good. You crave not being in pain. But I tell you, a lot of the pain comes from what you're eating, as in it's your the eating or the food stuff that you are taking is actually causing inflammation, which is making you sore, which is making you have painkillers. So imagine if you just cut out the pastas and the bread, and then you're not sore anymore, then all the money that you're spending and all the bad things that's happening from the painkillers would go away. Is that not like what I don't know what we're here on this planet for, but to me personally, like, while I'm here, I'm trying to make my life better, balanced, not more comfortable. Comfort is, I think, the death of people. So make it more enjoyable, that you want to do the uncomfortable stuff. Don't take the comfortable route. I try not to take the comfortable route. Like, sometimes my partner is like saying this and this and that, you must get this, and I just am happy with going the hard way and getting used to it. Then I don't like to. Sometimes I don't want to be comfortable. Sometimes I want to be uncomfortable. Sometimes it's good for your body, and I think too much of our upbringing is comfort and don't get hurt and so on and so on, and that's actually could be hampering your whole situation, because sometimes it's not your fault. Maybe for 20 years you were brought up a certain way to eat this and eat that. Now you're used to it, and you know how difficult it is to break a habit or to change what you eating or drinking and so on and so on. So like for me, I had an influence of my mom. One of my mom's partners was very, very fit and exercised a lot. And when I was young, and that's when I met this person, was exercising all the time, eating healthy all the time. So I got into that. So when I eat unhealthy too much, I don't like it. I try to change it to as healthy as I can be. It might not be the most extravagant food all the time, but it's healthier than the cuck stuff. And they always trained, and my mom trained, and seeing that helps you understand and push for being active and so on and so on. So I always thank my mom for that, because she exercised, and she could have been like, nah, she doesn't want to exercise, but she put in the work. And even though it was difficult, she'll tell you now she'd rather be doing the exercising and have a bit of injury and pain than suffer the not training. And that injury and pain is a lot worse, because that's processed foods, that's too much alcohol, that's too much gassy cool drinks, that's medical bills, that's body sore from just doing fuck all, can't even get up out of a chair. So you gotta be careful with these things, guys. Again, this podcast is, I always jump around whatever pops into my head or whatever I feel passionate about. I want to express to people and help them out. It's not that difficult. Whoever says it is, I believe truly that you should shut the fuck up and not run your mouth to other people at how difficult it is, because there are people out there that aren't training for anything but just to stay healthy, and they're doing it, right? What to say? Who gives you the right to say, oh no, you shouldn't, or you have this, and you shouldn't eat that, or you should eat this? I don't believe you have the right to say it. I don't even feel that I have the right to demand or be discriminating against people, but I do feel I have the responsibility, right, to just express the things I've learned and to help people a little bit, just 1%. That's all I tell my guys as well. I just want you 1% better, even if you don't get the move, you still came in and you put in the work, and that's the 1%. So even if you eat terribly the whole day, but you added one extra healthy thing to your day, that's the 1% you're looking for. So that's very important to bring to your life. Guys, I'm going to be signing off soon. I think there's load shedding now, so my laptop doesn't last forever without the battery. So I think it's load shedding's back, which is terrible, because we win the World Cup and then we fucked with load shedding again. But again, South Africa is adaptable. Not everyone can adapt, but most of the time you can think your way out of something. So South Africa, we're very good at problem solving, because we got this load shedding, or we got this, or we got that. So guys, have a great one. I hope to speak to you again. I hope to hear feedback from you guys, good or bad. Again, it's not nice to hear bad feedback, but probably the bad feedback is more truthful than the people, or going to be more bad feedback than good feedback. And in that bad feedback, you can probably still find some good. If you look, like someone might be like, oh, the sound was shit, and then I can go check, maybe the sound was shit. Or someone could be like, oh, I don't like the topics, and then that's going to help me grow. Whether I listen or not, that's a different story, because if you might just say you don't like listening, then I'll just tell you to then don't fucking listen. But if there's really stuff that's like bad feedback, but it helps me get better, I'll take it. Even though it doesn't feel nice, I'll still take it, because I want to better myself, and I want to also live by the sword, basically. So if I say I do these things, I do. I don't tell you guys anything that I haven't done myself, because that would just be a hypocrite. So I train. I'm at the gym. I train 5 or 6 times a week. Some days I don't train. Sometimes I don't feel like it. I still put in the next day. I'll definitely put in a session. I still eat sweet stuff, and I still fight to not eat terrible stuff every day, because sometimes it's easier. So just go out there and be a little better, because we all have the capability, and we probably all have that one person or friend that is willing to help, but you more see them as an irritation, because they try to help you before you want the help. So guys, have a lekker one, and I will see you. Well, I'll see you. Hope I'll see you at the gym if you come and train. Definitely help you out there. We have free trial classes. We have different types of training, different coaches, and a great atmosphere. And we don't discriminate, as in I don't really care what you are up to. If you come to train, you are welcome. We have again, all races. We have genders, different genders, change genders, different colors, sizes. We have all of it. People looking to go hard, people looking to go light, coaches. We have people just they just enjoy the training. Their body might not change so much. They just like to train. People that take the advice, people that don't. I don't mind. I'm happy just teaching the Muay Thai or the functional or the Jiu-Jitsu to everyone that is interested, because it's a great community to also see that, as Africans, we can all work together, because that's what I have at the gym. Every type of person, different races. If I had to tick off a box for these things, I could probably fill up most of the boxes, because I've had a variation of students and ethnicities and countries and okay, guys, have a great one. Signing off again. I try to maybe give you guys timelines. We are 2 days after the Rugby World Cup that we just won. Okay, and that was a great feeling. I was proud to be South African, because we, as I said, we can do whatever. We just got to stick together, guys. Okay, guys, have a great one, and I'm signing off. Cheers. Thank you for the listen. Thank you for the support, and keep listening. Even if you don't ever give feedback, you're out there. Cheers.